Welcome back to the That's Cricket podcast. This episode is brought to you by Runmaker. This is your fifth Ashes Test preview. Liam, we've got a lot to go over here. Usman Khawaja set to retire after this test. First thoughts, mate?
First off, that's cricket. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
You, yeah, I think we discussed that. We knew that it was coming. What a good way to go out. Obviously, Australia have won the series, and I'm sure you mentioned before off air that he's had a few hundreds here. So I'm sure he's looking to cash in and finish off on a high, which he deserves to.
Absolutely. I mean, this is, we had picked this all the way from the start, even earlier in the year, pre-starting the pod, talked a lot about this. This is going to be his last series. It would be unreasonable for him to continue on. They were thinking about pushing him over to try to get him through to the India series. I don't think it made a lot of sense considering that the whole lineup will eventually change over the next 2 years with everyone kind of going out. Warner retired at 38. He's retiring now at 39. This is his home ground. He lives to live down the street. And yeah, like you said, we talked about it a little bit before. He has 500s at the SCG. What a way to go out. Isn't this great?
Yeah, it is, mate. And obviously you said, I think he lives there. His family are there. People are going to come and watch him. Why would you not want to go out playing in Australia in the Ashes, winning the Ashes? I think it's a good way to go out. I'd like to see him get some runs, but also I'd like to see him get his poles knocked over. So yeah, I mean, you want people to go out on a high, but I also love England to win another test, you know?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see where he bats, considering he has been the opener for a long time. He did make his debut into the Australian team at number 3, and now he's batting at number 5, considering that Head moved to the top of the order. Hey, could you think about what would they do here? Are they going to put him at 5? They're going to open him up for a send-off? What do you think would be the logical thing they do here?
Just keep it as it is. I think so. I mean, he looks comfortable there. He came back in at number 5 a few tests ago and scored 80, right? Yeah. The only time he looked vulnerable to me, or when he looks vulnerable, is when someone's nipping the ball away with a new pill. And when he comes in middle order, he's very comfortable. Sometimes it takes a little bit time to get going, but he's awkward to bowl at. You bowl wide to him, he leaves it. You bowl too straight, he walks across and clips it for 1, clips it for 4. He has that shovel pull that is hard to bowl at. I would keep it at number 5. It seems to be working, obviously, apart from the last test. But I think Australia were that excited that they won the series already, and they went into Melbourne on a green seamer, and the gas had gone. But I'm sure they're going to bounce back, and it's going to be a tough challenge with Khawaja, hopefully, getting some runs for the Aussies.
Yes, I think everyone's going to be looking forward to him scoring another ton. It's pretty cool to have 5 tons at one ground. I don't know if there is another batter, maybe someone in the comments let us know if there is someone that has a ground like that where they excel at and score a lot of runs at. Like I said, it's your home ground. Sometimes you have that little bit of advantage. I know in recent years, he's obviously been playing for Queensland, for Sheffield Shield, but from Sydney, grew up in that area. So I think that's really cool. And yeah, it's going to be awesome to see him go retire. And hopefully, I mean, the Aussies were hoping that he gets a win and gets a nice Cinderella story send-off, hopefully with 100, with 100 to his name. You
also touched on it. Another green monster. Another one.
Oh, another great. I can't believe it. I don't know if the my little Orcas flag in the background. That's the color of the pitch right now. That little green. That green is the color of the pitch. It looks atrocious. We've spoken at length over the pods about the pitches and some of these conditions that have just been atrocious. I mean, 10 mil of grass on the MCG is criminal. I think that needs literally jail time. That's unheard of. I don't know how much grass they put on those stuff in England, but
Jail time.
Jail.
Who touched on it? Was it Stokesy last test when he said if it wasn't the MCG, more would have been made of that wicket if it was somewhere else?
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, yeah, and I have there's two roads I want to go touch on the pitches. 2 roads because I spoke in the last pod. I worked in agronomy, so I worked as a greenskeeper. I was a assistant superintendent for 4 years, so I know what it's like coming into golf tournaments and what goes into making a golf green and making a golf pitch works. It's very similar to how it works in cricket. You have to prepare many months in advance, and when it comes time to the day of the game, you have to cut the grass to a certain height and get the green to a certain height and the pitch to a certain height that's going to be good for 5 days of play. Sometimes these tournaments that we play are 2, 3, 4 day tournaments, right? So So there's a big discussion about how the grass grows. Now, the big thing was he wanted 10 mils of grass on the pitch so that it would hold up for day 4 and 5. We never saw it day 4 and 5. Like, it doesn't make any sense to have that much grass on the pitch. And it truly is the curator's fault. It 100% comes onto the curator. Being in that position in the golf world, like your whole job, you can get fired the next day if there's a bad, if there's a bad rub of the green.
Sorry to interrupt you, but touching on that, what's he being told by Australia? What's he being told by people? Because other times you play in the Ashes, the wickets are flat, the good cricket wickets where there's more runs. Where's he getting that information from? Where are the groundsmen from every stadium getting that information from, right? Because if Australia turned up and they said, listen, we want a true good wicket, and they're turning up with grass on the wicket, then there's no advantage. So it must be coming from somewhere.
Yeah, it seemed like from doing the stuff, like Todd Greenberg, the CEO of Cricket Australia, came out and said that he didn't like what happened, and it was as if the way that he was speaking was if he had no say in the matter, which seems so bizarre because from the golf world, the board that runs the club has a say in what's happening. Generally, there's a conversation between Green's chair and the superintendent, and they come together and they talk about how they want the speed of the grass to be and how they want the golf course to play. It seemed like that wasn't the case for the cricket. It seemed like Cricket Australia and the groundskeepers and the MCG committee just didn't speak to each other, and it was like, greenskeeper, you give us what you want to do, and it just didn't play out right. And even looking to the Perth pitch, we had a two-day test in Melbourne. It's cost Australia Cricket Australia millions, like $10 million everything they lost in this test. And, going to, let's just say it's Usman Khawaja's farewell retirement thing coming here to SCG. If we have another 2-day test, it's just going to be the most embarrassing thing of Cricket Australia. You can't do this. People think of all the money, all the tickets, all the flights. Think of all the Barmy Army that came over. Barmy Army people and everyone coming from England have lost days and hours of entertainment and tickets that they spent hard-earned money for, and to just throw it down the drain. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it is disappointing. And to your point, I mean, Australia are the ones missing out. The money's not coming into the ground. So I don't think, as you said, the hierarchy of Australia, do they make the decisions? But I don't think they're going to make a decision and they want the games to end in 2 and 3 days because they're missing out on the millions, 2, 3, 4 million, that the influx of the Barmy Army, the Aussie crowds and the home crowds, away crowds are bringing in. It is disappointing. It's been crazy cricket. There's no Ashes Test series like this. 2 days, 2 days. It's crazy. We want to see proper Test cricket. I like to see the old Bazball. I like to see excitement, but I like to see it in pockets of play within a 4 or 5 day test.
Yeah. The second part of that is that some of the batting hasn't been ideal. Now, I'm putting together a little montage of, is it the pitcher's fault? Or is it a bad cricket shot? There's a way you can go about, the pitch did a lot, it did do a lot. But there's also a reality where poor shot selection and, not having resistance at the crease and playing a false shot also played a part in a lot of those wickets. I think about mostly Lavishane is pressing out a lot. Cam Green, you think of a couple of tests ago, he backed away from the stumps because he's expecting a short ball. And then they were hammering at a length, and then he got a wide one and hit it straight to point. At some point, the batters have to take responsibility for their shot selection. Because you can let the ball go or it can move a lot, but if you play a false shot, that's kind of on you.
Yeah, I mean, also it's the intimidation of the wicket. Is the wicket going to do something? So I'm going to have to do something strange and out of character to play a shot. A bit like was it Jamie Smith in Adelaide, where he was 4-4-4-4, then he tried to tonk the ball out the ground and got caught mid-on.
Right.
Are you expecting the wicket to do something? But I think it's a bit of both. The wicket did do something, but there's been a lot of crazy cricket shots that's caused a lot of wickets, unnecessary wickets. I think both teams, especially the last test, could have potentially soaked up the barrage from the balls a bit longer, and then could have batted longer and scored and executed maybe more quick singles and put away the bad ball. But yeah, it's been a crazy game, especially the last one at the MCG.
Yeah, so I think, as much as the having 10 mil of grass and a green wicket, we don't like seeing it like that. I also think there's also some of the batters haven't lived up for their full potential, not playing the best cricket shots. Yeah. That's going to segue us into the Australian 11. Let's talk a little bit about the Australian team. We just spoke about Khawaja. He's going to be in there. He's retiring. Most likely he keeps his spot at number 5. It wouldn't make sense at this point to put him back in at open, but they haven't released it yet. They've been very good at releasing like right before the game, which is, classic Australia.
Old school. Yep.
Old school. And like England does put up their stuff nice in advance. But you would think we're going to run through the similar 11. You would think be Weatherall head to open. Marnus Labuschagne, who has been struggling at that number 3 spot right now. He isn't averaging very much. And as number 3s throughout this year, through the year of 2025, the position of number 3 across all cricket from all of the test playing nations is only averaging 25, which is actually the lowest 3-spot average ever. ever. So the number 3 spot's in trouble across the world right now.
I mean, we look at some of the greats like Sangakkara, Dravid, Kane Williamson. It's obviously Kane's retired right now. I think he's finished.
Yeah, you're thinking about Ricky Ponting.
And all of the best players in the world. Number 3 that's your pride. That's your stalwart. That's your run maker. That's your anchor in the team. But also when you look at the Australian team, and obviously number 1 and 2, Travis has been Travis. He's scored and took games away and won games for Australia. Weatherall came in. He struggled. I can't imagine he's average high. Labuschagne came in, struggled. He got a 51 test and hasn't got many runs off the back of getting hundreds in Shield cricket and club cricket because he's an absolute cricket nuffy. But I mean, he's not executed. He's not played as well as he'd like to play. So the pressure's also on the opening. Do Australia go back to the drawing board? Khawaja's out. Do they stick with Weatherall going forward in the next test series? Do you bring Renshaw in or do you bring someone else in? It's changing the guard maybe a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Like we mentioned, Usman Khawaja had started his career at number 3. He has a batting average of 37.19 batting at number 3 with 2,343 wickets, which is more than Steve Smith's runs at number 3. Smith's did a little bit at number 3, but he has an average of 65. He batted very well. He had 1,761 runs at 30 innings. The GOAT at number 3, obviously, is Ricky Ponting, 4,360 runs, 95 innings at number 3, average of 48.89.
Yep.
Marnus technically has an average at number 3 of 47.82. Just been of recent time, it's just been a little, the last two years, like the last 2 summers of cricket hasn't been the best for him, but he scored over 4,000 runs batting at number 3. And the good old Shane Watson, 37 average and just shy 987 runs, just a little bit shy of 1,000 test runs, batting at number 3 position.
I can say with Waddle, because he was my head coach at the Unicorns, he also brought in his bowling where he could bowl 90 miles an hour and got how many wickets plus, right? So that was an absolute bonus. But I think he was better down the order. They're probably going to stick with Marnus, right, going forward. He's a great player. He's got a great average, and he probably is your number 3.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go away from him. He went away and changed his game a little bit after the Border Gavaskar Trophy last year. He's made those 400s in Sheffield Shield. He's come back. He looked really good in that first test, but he got cut short because Travis had made the 100 and they didn't have a lot of runs to chase. Since then, hasn't been looking very well. He's got that found his edge a lot. He's been nicking off behind a lot. Hopefully he gets some runs here. Like I said, I don't think his position is really the one on the chopping block. Moving down to Steve Smith, number 4, he'll be captain again for this test match. Cummins is going to take a break. He's going to hold himself off for the World Cup, T20 World Cup. But yeah, you expect him. This is his true home ground as well. This is where he plays his cricket for New South Wales and for the Sixers.
What was the average? 60 odd as captain?
Oh yeah. Yeah, so he's going to be loving it being at the SCG, I think, and it's obviously the pink test. Everyone will be out, not the pink ball test, but everyone wears pink. If you're unfamiliar with the SCG test, during the third day, hopefully we get to the third day, everyone pinks out. Everyone wears pink. Big McGrath Foundation thing, breast cancer awareness test.
Yeah, it's an amazing cause. It's an amazing day. Absolutely, it's been. Obviously, that's transitioned into the UK. England do that with a different day, and the Stroud Foundation. It's an amazing cause, and we wanted to go 3 days for that, right? Yes,
that's what I'm saying. Like, there's big money on the line and big consequences for the test not going all the way through to 3 days. So yes, we need 3 days of cricket. That needs to happen. Moving into number 5 spot, that's where we think Usman Khawaja is going to sit, as Travis said, switches to the top of the order. The number 6 spot is contentious. Cam Green has been the number 6, but we have to think about Cam Green as he is supposed to, in all theory, replace Steve Smith when he retires at the number 4 spot. That's what Cricket Australia want. They want Cam Green at number 4, and there is, I want to say, 2 sides of the aisle, but there's really I feel like everyone's on one side of the aisle and really only a few people on the other side of the aisle where they want to celebrate Cam Green as a bit close to being Ben Stokes. I saw the Channel 7 came out and they did a report like he's only like a fraction behind Ben Stokes in bowling and batting statistics. And I was like, it just doesn't compute because you want him as a batter first, not a bowler first. He's a batter first, and they want him to replace Steve Smith. He's not a 4 batter. Right now, his form is he's not a 4 legacy batter. That's not what he is right now.
To your point, I think Alex Carey slides in at 6. I love him at 6.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think Cameron Green is perfect at number 7. Maybe down the line, he might sneak up a little bit to 5, but like he's also bowling a lot. You know, I don't mind him in that position. He's not. I've watched him, and he's not going to be a Steve Smith. He's not that caliber. Yeah. Not many people are. Plus, with him in slips or catching down around in the field, I like him a little bit down the order. Takes the pressure off, and he can play his own game a bit more free.
Yeah, and this is the argument I'm going to put forward is that if he is going to be just the bowling batting all rounder that pushes down into 7. Does it make sense? I would rather see Webster come in to bat in that position because he has made a lot more runs. He had great partnerships with Carey in the Border Gavaskar Trophy last summer. He's missed out in every test so far. And if Cam Green is supposed to be the 4 batter, right, and now he's coming to be a 7, is he the best 7? Because I think there could be other 7s that could come in and fill that role better than him. You know what I mean? Is Bo Webster a better 5 batter than Cam Green? No. But but if we're gonna go if 7 is the spot we're fighting over, I think we could put different people in the 7 spot. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, they're both solid players, like for like, right? Cameron Green bowls quicker than Webster. But Webster can also turn to a little bit of spin, right? Like, isn't that what he does? He mixes it up.
Yeah, it gives you a little option. Yeah.
Subcontinent. He can come in a bit handy there. You don't have to take an extra spinner. You can play him, bit of seam, bit of spin. But yeah, they're not number 3s. They are I think for me in Test cricket, taking the pressure off 5, 7. But as you said, when you get to number 7, then can you change that for someone else? But I think Cameron Green is a good cricketer and he will be very strong. He will have good stats. He will keep backing up ball and bat as he moves along.
Yeah. So into the SCG test, we're probably going to have a spinner come in. So that was most likely Murphy. They had brought him into the squad days before they announced they weren't going to pick him in the MCG. So even though there's not really going to be a turning wicket at the SCG, you would suspect they're going to put Murphy in as a spinner, which leaves us thinking about what the bowling lineup's going to be. They're probably going to have Scotty Boland, Stark, Nisa, Murphy would probably be the winners, or am I adding too many bowlers there? You would have to have.
Are you going to bowl Travis Head? Are you going to play Travis Head? Are you going to bowl him more overs, which gives you an opportunity to bring another bowler in, another all-rounder in? I like Murphy. I think he's one of the few traditional off-spinners knocking around. Like Bashir will get into that, like the Grim Swan, the Nathan Lyon. They're still trying to execute. They're not too fancy. They're proper off-spinners. So it's obviously nice to see the traditional off-spinner play. But yeah, is he going to play or are they going to just bowl Travis? If it's not going to spin.
Yeah, it's not going to spin. So, I mean, they did bowl Travis Head a good fair few overs. So he could get a go. But do they want the traditional guy? Do they want to keep Nisa in? I mean, Nisa's been bowling very well. Boland's been bowling very well. They've all been bowling very well. They're not going to bring in a 4-pace bowling attack. I don't think they're going to bring...
also that, Adam, as well, though, just thinking about it now, Australia have won the series, right? So why not bring in someone to give them an Ashes test, right? Why not bring him in? So
it's a very good point. They brought Jai Richardson in. Is he'll probably be the person that will stay in or stay out. So it would be Nisa, Stark, Boland, and then they're going to either take Richardson or take Murphy, or they might take someone else. I mean, it probably really is. Really, it's going to be Richardson versus. I really feel it's Richardson versus Murphy. I don't think they're going to drop Nisa over Murphy. Does that make sense? I think they're going to keep Richardson and drop and leave Nisa out.
No, I think to your point, I think they're both going to play by the looks of it. I think.
Reckon?
I don't know. My guess is good.
Could go both ways.
But
They
both bowled pretty well, right? They didn't bowl many overs. When you look at the second innings, Richardson bowled better than Nisa. He picked up 2 for 20 or 5. He's a good bowler. He has more pace, but obviously Nisa's ball got wickets, crucial wickets, helped win the game at Brisbane. So why would you take him out?
Yeah, no, and he also tops batting score. He got the most runs for them in that one of those innings in the last test. So yeah, very interesting how that's going to play out. Every series, the Ashes gives us moments we never forget. Blistering spells, brave stands, and shots that echo through eternity. But this year, you won't just watch the drama unfold, you can feel it. Train your reflexes with life pace, refine your technique with real-time feedback, and take on sessions inspired by legends of the game out in the middle. This Ashes, don't just be a spectator, own the moment. Runmaker VR is your very own indoor net facility from the comfort of your own home. With Runmaker, you can train how you want, whenever you want, putting your skills to the test in real-time net sessions. Work on the short ball, your cover drive, and even a ramp shot with real-time feedback. You can also get feedback on your game by recording your sessions and sending them to your coach. Your journey to the pitch starts with Runmaker VR. Download Runmaker to save this Ashes with code RunmakerSub DEC-E6EFEA to get 50% off your first 6-month subscription when signing up before January 31st. Moving across to England's 11, Potts finally makes his, not debut, but he's finally into the squad for this summer. He looking to get into the 11 with playing for the Lions, then didn't really make it in. They went rotating the order a lot. Tongue came into the side instead. Now we're going to get Tongue and Potts into the 11 here. Tell us your thoughts on how you think the bowling lineup is, first of all, for England.
Yeah, just looking at it now, obviously Gus Atkinson out, obviously injured. Then you got Cast, Tongue, Stokes, and then you're going to bring in Potts for Atkinson maybe. But if you look at Potts, he came into the scene and he bowled well. But I think he struggled last year first class. I think he averaged 40 with the ball last year in first class. So he's not played. He's not coming off like an amazing season. But England have stuck with him to see potential. If the ball's nipping around and he can seam it off a green top, then it'd be hard work. A bit like Yanisa, right? He can hit the stumps, he can nip it away. But I think he's going to come in for Gus Atkinson, and it's going to be same. Are you going to put the spinner? Are you going to play a spinner, or are you going to bowl Rooty?
Yeah. So like I did a big little piece. I did a big piece on Josh Tongue. He bowled very well. He got a 5 for in the last test. So many things to touch on with Josh Tongue. We mentioned, it was actually during our live stream, I was speaking with you and I said, did you notice that he puts the ball all the way?
Sticks back in.
He puts the ball all the way into his hand, and we spoke about it while we were on the live stream. And then watching the cast from Melbourne, they put up a graphic which I discovered he has the fastest arm speed in Test cricket going around, but he has the slowest wrist snap. So when you take the fastest arm speed with the slowest wrist snap, it only comes out at 135 or 136 miles an hour. It doesn't come out that very.
Well, you think about it, it's like them. The sidearms, right?
Right.
The
Yes.
Snap. It doesn't flex much, but it's like that. So the arm speed. But to your point, I think he's been outstanding. The first test he came in, he bowled fuller. He managed to hit the stumps, attack the stumps. And then last test, he was just that length is very like attacking. He's not short. He's very full. Do you then, when you look at that attack, I think Bryden Cars is a very good bowler, but he's a first change bowler. We've seen him giving so many loose balls up top. Who are you going to bowl up top? Are you going to bring in Potts, who's probably going to open the ball in, but who's he going to open the ball in with? Because Atkinson's out. What about, who'd be the best? Stokesy.
I think it's criminal. I think it was absolutely criminal that Cass and Atkinson opened the bowling. I think everyone on comms was talking about how good Tongue bowls, especially to the left-handers. And even more criminal, he had an opportunity. I don't know if he's caught this, but he had an opportunity last game to pick up a hat-trick.
Yeah.
He got the 2 wickets in the final 2 balls of the first innings, and Scotty Boland opened the batting for the final over of play in the second innings. So Tongue had an opportunity to go wicket and then Boland. He would have been the first person ever to get a hat trick, getting at the same player twice.
Is that right?
Yes, but they didn't bowl him. They bowled Atkinson for the final over, and we didn't get to see that history. If he had bowled and taken the hat trick, it would have been history making. But you saw as soon as he came on, impact straight away. He bowled so well, impact straight away. And I don't know if Stokes wanted to set him up or there's some sort of, maybe explain a little bit on how it goes with bowling and who gets the opening ball versus who's the second change or the first change bowler coming in, and if there's any strategy around who bowls when.
Yeah, I think it depends also. Like, some bowlers don't feel comfortable with the new ball. Maybe they don't bowl with the new ball for the county. Maybe they're not used to it. You have the lacquer on the ball, which sometimes I think there was before Mitch Stark bowled his first over, he sometimes wipes his hands in the dirt, so he gets a bit like a purchase, a bit of stick, because that new ball can slip out. So it is a skill. I think I started my career opening the bowling, but then there's a lot better bowlers who open than me, and I was better during the middle. I found it more comfortable. So sometimes you might see Carsey might struggle a bit like that, and it's not a bad thing. You become a good middle order bowler, and then you have the guys up top who can hit line length from ball one, like potentially like your Tongue, like your Atkinson, and maybe your Potts. Potts will slide in there. I honestly think Stokes is still the best line length bowler. I wonder what he'd be like if he just took the new ball for five overs.
I would love it. I would love them to open up with Tongue and Stokes to open. And like I said, he hasn't got a bowl all day. You give him 5 overs apiece. Between those 10 overs, that should in 10 overs, you're hoping to get at least one pill. That would be like one wicket. That would be the goal of like, okay, we did very well. If there was no wickets, you didn't do very well. If you got 2 wickets, absolute bonus. But in that 10 over spell, 12 over spell, you're looking for that 1 wicket. And I think if you went Stokes Tongue, that would get one.
I think what they'll do is, would you put Tongue might be comfortable. Like sometimes you are comfortable bowling first change because you know what the wicket's doing, you know what the batsmen are doing, you know what the wicket's moving around, and he's taking wickets bowling first change. So why would you change that? So you got to look like, which side is it?
Yeah, that is a good point.
We don't have to make the decision though. So hey,
we don't have to make the decision. Maybe I don't know if England's going to needs big bowling coaches or batting coaches or how it's going to go off the year. I think they say face. If they won that Melbourne test, I made a big claim. I said if they don't win that Melbourne test, at the end of that Australia's second innings, I said if England doesn't win, I think everyone should be sacked. The whole entire team should be sacked. Everyone, sack everyone all the way down to the person that shines shoes at the door at the MCG. Just sack everyone. But they won.
To be honest with you, like the way that England were playing, that's how they were going to win in 2 days, wasn't it? That's how it was going to happen.
Yeah. So no, as I said, the biggest thing was that they had the opportunity to win, and they needed to make sure that they won. That was the biggest thing. If they had that, they could see the light at the end of the tunnel. If they didn't win, it would have been really, really bad. The rest of the order here for England, we got Crawley, Duckett, Bethel came into the side. Root and Brook, that's our top 5. Let's go up to the openers. Ben Duckett had come in a lot of scrutiny coming off the last test with the whole Noosa incident. I think the moral of the story from everyone involved is that it was poor management on England management's behalf, letting him just roam free in Noosa. He was trying to get home safely. He was caught off guard. Someone filmed him. They gave it to the Daily Mail. He did nothing wrong. He was just caught out in public, intoxicated, which can happen. But there's like, I think no one looked at him saying like he was in the wrong. He should have had someone with him to escort him home. I think that was the biggest thing. Coming out into the MCG test, does score some runs in the second innings, does look all right, but then does get out playing one of a terrible shot. Just pushed at it like that was like under 15s, like 4th grade stuff. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if he just lost the shape of the ball or he didn't know where he was going or he was half through the shot. I don't know, but it was a terrible shot. Gets himself out. Crawley, he scored a couple of runs. He's done okay. I guess doing a job. The opener's job is to see off the new ball and set it up for everyone else, right?
It is, but also in this modern day, you want your batters to go through, right? You want one of your owners. When you get through, you've done the hard work. So now, like, back it up, back the truck up, get 100. Yeah. They kind of did the job. They were chasing what? They got 168. They knocked it off at the end. 178, knocked the total off for 37 and 34. And they did it fairly quickly with boundaries, right? They kind of did the job for that second innings, but that's not been the case in the other tests. It's not really worked, has it? So
Bethel comes in. I gave him a lot of flack coming in. He does stupid stuff just like Harry Brook does. I referenced going back to the India test matches earlier in 2025. They had an opportunity to win that game. They were 7 wickets in hand, 70 runs to come out. Harry Brook throws his bat. Sky's one that gets caught. Root does something stupid. He gets caught behind. Bethel charges down the wicket, just literally comes down the wicket, cross bat shot, clean bowls himself. They lose that match. And then he got only a couple of runs in that first innings. Batted very well in the second innings.
Yep.
Batted very well.
Run a ball 40, right?
Yeah, run a ball, and he was playing good cricket shots, aggressive cricket shots, but good cricket shots. Happened to smash one to Khawaja and took a catch in at short cover there. Great grab, just hit it straight to the man. That happens in cricket, but he obviously performed, and I think this is where England want to go with this team. The top 5 at sits right now, I think, will be the 5 moving forward. Ollie Pope, the man, came in to be that number 3. I don't think he's going to return into the side now after seeing Bethel do what he did. And English cricket moving forward, I'm not sure exactly where Ollie Pope's role is, but Bethel did well. He should expect to get some runs at SCG.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like it. Obviously. Yeah. Rooty's Brooks hasn't had an amazing series, but he's very talented. He still averages 50. But to your point, Jacob Bethel, he hasn't had a first-class 100, but he came in a big occasion in the Ashes, and he got 40 in that second innings to help England win the game. So he handles pressure well. And apparently the way he speaks in the dressing room about the game, he's got a captain's brain. So I know he's young, but he obviously speaks up and he knows the game well. So he's obviously one for the future and obviously one for now. And he stood up and scored runs and helped win the game. Yeah,
I before the game, I put it forward that he was kind of like going to give a Sam Constas kind of knock. I wanted to see him come out and do something exciting, which he did. He performed, and it was very much Sam Constas-esque because Sam Constas also debuted at the MCG. He come in as opener, and he really took it to Bumrah and really made India move the field around. Bethel doing the same kind of thing, was aggressive. Obviously, the chase wasn't a lot, but he did do the job. And hopefully he can keep performing as a youngster, keep putting up the runs and do a job in at number 3, considering that, as we mentioned, the number 3 is probably the toughest spot in cricket going around right now. A lot of people around the world struggling to lock that number 3 spot in and score a lot of runs. Root coming to the SCG. He made his 100 here in Australia. Is he going to be able to make another ton at the SCG?
He's scored some, he's failed some, but it's Rooty. He averages plenty. If he gets his toes wet and he starts scoring runs and he sort of plays the game his tempo, which he's really good at. When he plays, it's very different to everyone else because he's hard to stop scoring, just singles, and he sort of manipulates the field. He just needs to get himself in. He needs to obviously avoid that Stark nipping around and throwing his hands at the ball. But he's a world-class player, and there's no doubt that he can score runs in the first or the second innings. Yeah.
Harry Brook has batted pretty well. He has done some Harry Brook things, some stupid things, I like to say. But, that's the way that he plays. That's the way that he plays. That's the way that England plays. Should be able to cash in on some runs here at the SCG. Boundaries aren't as big at the SCG, which should favour England. England cricket grounds aren't as big as the traditional Australian grounds. The Optus and especially Melbourne have very, very big grounds. SCG, not the biggest stadium in the world. So should be very good. Should be very good for him. What do you think, Harry Brook?
Yeah, he's obviously a great player. He can take the game away, but it's how many, and his averages speaks for itself, but how many games can you get quick 40s and 50s and without going on the big hundreds, right? Because that's one of your main players. That's your star in the team. That's the future of the cricket, potential future test captain. When do you want him to back up the truck? When do you want him to get runs? When do you want consistently get 100 or like a 50, 100? You know what I mean? We want to see him do that again. Maybe it's just a tricky period where he scored quick 40s and 50s and took the game a little bit away. But yeah, we still need him to score runs, right? He's a class player.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked a little bit about Ben Stokes. Mitchell Starc has his number. He's gone him 12, 13 times now. Mitch Starc absolutely going through him. Through the gate twice, a couple of call it behinds this series. He hasn't really scored. Hasn't really scored this series, Ben Stokes. Hasn't really done it with the bat.
He got a 50, then an 80. Do you know what's funny when you talk about the Baz ball? It's like everyone plays bad ball apart from Stokes and Rooty.
Right. Right. So he had those couple of 50s where he held it in for England and kind of just held the wicket down. Those couple of 50s of 150 balls. That's what England needed at the time. It just seems weird to think about, like, he hasn't done anything extravagant, like you think about the 2019 series where he saved the game or whatever. That hasn't really happened at this point. And you can't always put it on him to do that. You think the 5 guys above him should be doing more. So you don't have to have that weight on your shoulders. But he's been doing a lot with the ball, a lot with the bat. You can almost say, you might say he's been England's best player overall, potentially, with the bat and the ball, being there in both scenarios. Jamie Smith as the keeper, wouldn't say it's his best series of cricket he's ever played, and not in the best form of his life. Catches have gone down, runs haven't really been scored, played a stupid shot to get out when he was really going well. That's I don't know how's Jamie Smith going, and
Yeah, I mean, I think Jamie Smith's a very good player, and I thought he would have got a lot of runs this series because he plays the bounce well. He likes to pull, plays well off the back foot, but he hasn't got going. And to your point, he banged back, was it Stark for like 3 fours, and then tried to hike one out of the ground for 6, and he gets out, and you're like, you've already taken the game away. He could have soaked up the pressure. I think he was batting with Jacks at the time. I know it was a tough ask, but they've got a good partnership. They were both set. But they'll stick with him. I think he's a very talented player. This is going to be a lesson learned coming to Australia, playing on different facilities, different wickets, amazing Australian bowlers. And I think they're going to stick with him because he's very talented. I think they're going to keep working on his keeping. It's not tricky being 6'3" and being a keeper. So I think they're going to keep working with that.
Yeah. So what can we expect coming into this test here at the SCG? If it's a green top, we're winning the toss, and we're doing what? We're gonna.
Oh, you got a ball, haven't you?
You got a ball. You got a ball. You got a ball. So it's been interesting that Australia batted first in the last test and lost, and they put England in the first 2 tests, or England batted first in the first 2 tests, and then Australia batted first in the last 2 tests. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I know in Big Bash in particular, it's something like 80% of teams bowl first these days. I don't know how it works over in the test match cricket, but it does seem like a little bit, bowling first seems like the way to go, considering that with these green wickets, getting a lot of pills early can be the way to go.
Yeah, because you're putting the pressure on straight away. So if the ball is nibbling around, and as a bowling team, you pick up wickets and restrict the opposition to a low team, the pressure's straight onto the opposition. So for me, you would bowl first, but let's see what the wicket's like when that coin goes up and the toss is obviously executed. Let's see who does what. But if it's green, then it's going to seam, and you got to have a ball.
Now, is it different? I feel like back in the day, like 90s, 2000s, when it was, you backed your batters. It was always bat first. It was never ever a question of if we're going to bowl bat first. It was always bat first. And it was if we back our batters. But are we getting into a position in Test cricket where we're now thinking like, oh, we don't trust our batters enough to have them do the job for us? We think we're going to get more wickets and we would get runs. Is that where we're sitting now in Test cricket? We trust the bowlers more than the batters?
Oh, you're thinking about it. If it's going to move around, it's probably going to move around first innings rather than second innings. So why give our batters less chance? Let them bat second, and the ball might not move around as much. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. And also back in the day, your Michael Athertons weren't ramping it or running down the wicket and slapping it over cow. So it's a little bit different. But that's a good point. You have to back your openers. But I think if it's moving around, you're going to bowl. You're going to protect your batsman no matter what.
And is this coming back to pitches being more green and having more in it for the bowlers? Because like I said, it used to be just no thought. It used to always be, just bat first, and it was always like, we're batting on a road. And it was never a thought of, it was such an advantage to win the toss and bat. And I feel like now, because of these spicy wickets, the advantage is now winning the toss so you can bowl.
Yeah. I mean, but it depends where you are. I wasn't expecting this. I mean, the commentators, Dizzy, McGrath, all these guys who know the world of cricket in Australia, they said, and Steve Smith even said, I think when he was with KP on the switch hit, he was talking about, the wicket's going to be green and spicy. But you don't expect that in Australia. Maybe there's going to be a bit of bounce, a little bit of movement, but you can catch it on the back end where second innings you can cash in, or you get through the first and second session, and you can bat and bat and bat. But I don't think I was expecting it to be like this. So
No, I don't think anyone's expecting this much grass, this much green top scenario. It's very England-esque. England's wickets are normally a little more greener,
Yeah.
than the Australian wickets. Hard, bouncy roads we normally expect from Australian pitches. So let's have a little prediction. How do we think it's going to go here for the SCG test?
I think it's going to be. It's so hard because what's the wicket going to be like? England could hammer them in 2 days, and Australia could hammer England in 2 days. Let's go. I want England to win, but I have a feeling. No, I'm going to go England in 4 days.
England in 4. Okay, if you're going to go England in 4, give me a prediction on a bowling stat or a batter, 100 or a 50 or a 5-fer, or who do you think is going to be a standout for one of the sides?
I think it's about time. I think there'll be 200s. I said this early on. I think Rooty at one point, he'll get maybe a 70 or 80. I think Harry Brook will come out and he'll tee off with plenty of luck. He'll go on and get his first 100. I think he'll edge some, inside edge some, slice some, miss-hit some, but he might get his 100.
Get a little lucky. Get a little lucky century here. I like that. You need a bit of luck getting to a century. You need a little luck getting there.
Also, that I'm going to go with Josh Tongs in bowling form. I think he's going to pick up wickets again. I think he's got his iron. He's bowling great lengths. He's smashing the pitch and a full length. I think he'll pick up at least 3 in each.
Yep. That sounds good. I like that. I'm going to go with, let's go with the Cinderella story. Let's go with Khawaja to score 100 at the SCG. Let's go Cinderella story, making it happen. I don't think anyone would be upset. Even England, I think, would give him a little clap, send off for the 100 at the SCG. As for the bowling for Australia, Starkey, he's at his home ground too. Got to think it's his home ground. So let's get Starkey 5-fer.
Boland hasn't picked up a bag full yet, has he?
Not a bag full, but he's been very consistent, very backup role, very second change kind of guy. It's been a good,
2 for 20, 2 for 40, doing his job.
Yeah, but Stark has. How many wickets? He's got 20 plus wickets in this series. Absolutely ridiculous. There's a comparison to Mitch Johnson. I don't think he's going to catch Mitchell Johnson's figures, but here's the figures right here. Mitch Stark, 26 wickets at 17. Mm-hmm. Johnson, during the 13-14 Ashes, guess. Do you want to have a guess how many wickets he took in the 13-14 Ashes?
What did Stark get?
So Stark got 26.
I think it was great. Let me go 37, random.
That is the number. He got 37.
I think I'm not going to lie. I think I've seen it flash up, mate.
Yes, like I said, it's been floating around. But yeah, so Mitchell Johnson took 37 wickets during that 2013-14 Ashes. Stark's at 26. So you think he'd probably add a combined 5. Yeah, a combined 5 over 2 innings. But I don't think, that's as good as, think about this, as good as Mitch Stark has been, he's still going to be like a whole innings behind, like another 5-6 wickets behind where Mitch Johnson was during that series. That was a series. That was peak. That was peak fast bowling. Absolute peak.
He backed it up in South Africa. I remember they went straight to South Africa and he bowled speed of light. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, absolute peak. So that's pretty much the test on the Ashes. We're going to push on to the T20 World Cup, which is going to be coming up in February after the Ashes. It's going to be a 3-week break in basically big things happening around the world. There's the SA20 happening, and the ITL is going to be finishing up in the next couple of days. But big thing on the calendar, T20 World Cup. Australia, a couple of teams have announced their squads. India has announced their squad. Australia has announced their squad. England has announced their squad. USA hasn't announced their squad. That's going to be one of the biggest contentious things, is figuring out who's going to play for Team USA. We have a lot of thoughts on who it's going to be. Looking at the Australian 11 first, or Australian squad first, they've gone Marsh, Bartlett, Connolly, Cummins, Tim David, Cam Green, Nathan Ellis, Josh Hazelwood, Travis Ed Inglis, Matt Kuderman, Maxwell Short, Stoinis, and Zampa. Mitch Owen left out of the squad, plays MLC, plays for the Freedom, plays for Hobart Hurricanes. Weird to see him out of the squad, considered that he has been brought into the squads that have played this season.
Yeah. I think
weird.
He's obviously, I didn't see too much of him the first time in MLC, but last year he came up, picked up wickets and smacked the ball. He feels like he's a good cricketer, but it feels like they've got a few of them who do that role, right? In terms of campaign.
Yes, that's the biggest thing, is that they said he technically had been opening. So technically he's an opener. So now Australia have Marsh and Head opening. You're never going to drop them as that person. They've had him pushed into the order, down the order as at like 6 or 7 batter down that order as a all-rounding batting all-rounder, which again is taken up by people like Maxwell and Green, Estoinis. They kind of fill in that role down that part of the order, so it's hard to fit him in there. I think he would be a great utility and how do you look at it? Injury replacement. We're going into this series. Tim David hurt his hamstring, but has been picked in the side. Cummins coming off the injury, he's resting up, saving himself for the World Cup. And Hazelwood is also. Is Hazelwood into the side? I thought no. Hazelwood's not. Hazelwood is in the side. Hazelwood is in, but they said that's where they had him on pause here for the tests, so they could get him in to the T20 side. But he's also, technically in doubt. So there's options there for Australia to potentially bring Mitch Owen in. But Cooper Connolly, Cooper Connolly and Bartlett, who are your unicorns, fellow unicorns, are in to the side. Very good.
Very good player. Obviously, I've seen a lot of him playing in the Big Bash, but not to the point where I played with him this year, and he was excellent. He surprised me with the bat. I know he could play, but he won a few games for us with the bat. And his ball and his execution in terms of hitting the top of the stumps, shaping it away, and at the death, hitting people on the toes, he's very skillful. Cooper obviously didn't get too much of a chance, but I think he's a terrific player. I watched him in the Big Bash this year. Very Sean Marsh-like, the way he picks up his hands and the way he pulls and cuts. I think he's some talent. So it's obviously great to have him. He can also bowl some little spinners as well.
Yeah, and Matthew Short, also a unicorn into the side, potentially opening the batting, and a little bit of spin option there.
He's been one of the Big Bash best players, right, in the history of the game, I guess, in terms of the history of the league. He's had MVP plenty of times. Very good with the bowling up top. Doesn't look to spin it too much. He can spin it, but he gets the ball to slide on with bowling through the gate, caught slip, and his batting speaks for itself. He's horrible to bowl at, picks up length reasonably well, leg side player. But yeah, he's a serious player. Yeah,
and I think Australia's chances at the World Cup, I die on this hill, and I made a big thing about this at the last World Cup. Australia is the best team in the world only if you include Mitchell Starc in the team. For whatever reason, unbeknownst to anyone, they dropped Mitchell Starc in the last World Cup for the game against Afghanistan. Australia ended up losing that game, and it cost them the World Cup final. I don't know. They went with Agar as a second spinner. I cannot, for the life of me, understand why they ever did that. So I'm back Australia to be up there with India as like the top 2 teams, obviously, for the World Cup. But the team has to include Starc. If Starc isn't in the side, then Australia's just USA beats them. Anyone beats them. I just think it's a big, having Mitchell Starc on the side as a bowler is just so crucial. That's for that
the
team.
Thing though. Now I think when you think back in the day, it's like it's subcontinent. Obviously, Australia, England struggle to play there, but they play so much IPL cricket now. They play so much cricket there, right? So that's you got to take that off the table now. They played so much. They played 10, 12, 13 years. Some of them, Maxwell and these guys. But I agree. Australia are always a powerhouse of a team. They've got so much talent. And to your point there, Afghanis are used to playing spin, but not used to playing against someone who bowls 94 miles an hour in swinging left armers. So that's a great point you made.
Yes, and he takes wickets in every. He takes wickets. He's taken 4 wickets. He's one of the best players in the world at taking a wicket in the first over. Across all formats. He's done it in the test matches this season. He's taken, I think, a wicket in every first innings other than the MCG test. It's across all formats, especially in T20. He's great at breaking the opening partnerships in T20 cricket. So yeah, he's has to play all the games for me. Looking to the England squad, we've got Harry Brook, Duckett, Banton, Butler, Salt. We got Bethel, Curran, Dawson, Jacks, Overton. Ahmed, that's a batting all-rounder, and then Archer, Adil Rashid, Josh Tongue, and Luke Wood is a squad.
I guess I'm going to say this, but I think we're very seam light. Is Overton in that squad? Did Overton make that?
Yes, Overton. Yeah, Jamie Overton's in the squad. Yes.
I think we have. If you look at the guys who've played some continent there, Luke Wood's played a little bit in terms of I think PSL. He's in Dubai now, but Overton not too much in India. And obviously you got Josh Tongue, not too much in India. I think they'll struggle with the seam option. Batting, you've got so many good batters there in terms of your Brook, obviously Banton, Butler, Sam Curran, who's played so much with the bat. So he's the bowler as well, very skillful.
Yeah.
I think they'll struggle. I don't think they're going to be as powerhouse as Australia. I think they're just lacking. You missed out Archer. Archer's bowled rockets.
Archer is in there, yes. Archer is in there. I think, honestly, I think England might have the best batting lineup. They have one of the best. They have the best aggressive T20 lineups. They're the second or third ranking. They're third ranked in T20 around the world. Are they going to be able to hold the line and get themselves into a final for this T20 World Cup? They had an opportunity to win Champions Trophy. I know it's ODIs, but they kind of threw that game away against Afghanistan earlier last year. Again, they had an opportunity to win, threw it away. I'd almost said it was going to be, if they lost the MCG test, I was putting a compilation of like England's worst year of cricket ever, but they won the MCG test, they save face. Hopefully they do a little better in this T20 World Cup, get themselves into a playoff spot. Looking into the USA team, there's plenty of options that we can go with over here. I think some of the names that we would look to see hopefully moving into the squad. Sanjay Krishnamurthy, your unicorn, fellow unicorn. You would hope to see him into the squad. I think that's everyone wants him, right?
I'm not going to lie. I'm not just saying this, but he'd be the first on the team sheet for me, especially with what he's shown against some of the best players in the world in the MLC. He took apart some amazing ballers, right? Like, you got to get him in there. For me, bottom number 3, bottom number 4. He's your player.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Andreas Gauss comes off making 100 in the ILT. Beautiful 100 there for the Vipers. Looked very, very well.
Crazy.
He'd probably be your opener along with Monik Patel. It'd probably be Monik Patel, Gauss, and then Andreas Gauss. So you'd probably have Sanjay Krishnamurthy coming in at number 3. The rest of the order is going to be where it's kind of like a gridlock between a bunch of players that could fit in between 4, 5, and 6. You think about Aaron Jones. You think about Nish Patel. You think about you got Taylor. You got a bunch of guys.
I can also say this because I'm not part of USA Cricket. It depends who's picking the team and who wants to pick the friends or not, right? Like, we can say this because we know that the depth in USA Cricket now, there's so many people you can pick from. I think you can pick a USA team and you can pick 2 of the teams that can compete against them very easy, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think just because you qualify, you should get selected. I don't think that's the thing. But we know now, we've been involved in USA Cricket. I've played with a lot of the guys. There's a lot of talent away from the team that they pick right now. We don't have to go into the politics and stuff, but you could pick a strong team there. You could.
Yeah, there's plenty. One of the misconceptions about people that look into cricket, especially that are Americans, they think, oh, America never has a chance. America has world-class players playing for them inside of their inside of this domestic league and the MLC, and can represent USA. Some are born in America, some have moved here legally and have become citizens and are American. Just like you and I, we move here, we become American, you play for America. The team stacks up. The team stacks up against anyone in the world, and especially in T20 cricket, the window is so small that anyone can win any day. It's not like a country mile win to someone, you know what I mean? Even against Australia or in India, anyone has a chance to win.
And then when I look at if you look at the opening bowlers, you've got Netravalka, obviously definitely playing. I would have Brody Couch, 90 miles an hour playing Big Bash. He's got to play. Like, you've got to get him here. You've got to get him playing. Ian Holland is a great cricketer playing county cricket. Might not make the 11, but he's got to be in that squad. And you look around at the talent in MLC, some of the youngsters coming through. Hopefully they do it right, the selectors, and pick the talent that have been performing, not just because they've been in the team for the last 3 or 4 years. Because,
I think,
to your point, there's some very good players.
I think of names like a Gurkha who kind of closed out the innings for MI New York against Maxwell and Phillips. I mean, that's like 2 of the biggest hitters in cricket. You're a young kid. You got the last ball to win yourself a championship. He bowls absolutely beautifully, wins the game. That's a name I think can be on the team sheet also. You think about Ali Khan, bowls quick, probably the quickest bowler for
Gannon.
Gannon, he got Domestic Player of the Year, so he's another player could be up there for them. And plenty of options.
They're the 2 for me. In terms of you looking at a bowling unit, I'm going to bring in Gannon and I'm going to bring in Brody Couch. They're playing really good cricket in Australia. They're playing first-class cricket. I would open the ball with Couch, but then also you've got Cam Gannon who can come in the middle. He's a tall guy, doesn't bowl express, but he can smash the pitch. I don't think we have any other US bowlers who can do that. Ali Khan bowls rockets, but he bowls quick, maybe 135, 140. Very good at the death. Netravalka, there's a good force straight away. You got Shadley, who's been in and out of the team. I think he's a very good utility player. He can score runs at the back end and he can bowl stump to stump. Whether you use him in India, I'm not so much sure, but he's an option. Then you've got, obviously, you've got 6 bowlers who can perform.
Yeah, no, yeah, Shadow had a good chat with Shadow last year. He's a good option there as well. Yeah, we'll see. I think it's going to be USA will probably as late as possible to release their squad. USA Cricket doesn't know what they're doing at all anyway, so I don't think they're gonna. It'll be a very last minute. 11. Or 15 squad for the World Cup. But we look to be covering that, and we look forward to everything coming up in February. Liam, that's going to be a wrap on this one for our Ashes. Final Ashes. This is our final Ashes. Final Ashes preview right here. It's been great, mate. It's been great. We'll see you for the wrap show. And yeah, that's cricket.
That's cricket. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.